From the cross-country mortgage campus to FirstEnergy Stadium for the annual Orange and Brown practice, I'm Jason Gibbs alongside Andrew Gribble. This is the best podcast available, Training Camp Edition. Kicking off the podcast right now, being joined by Browns rookie linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And JOK, first day out on the field at FirstEnergy Stadium in front of some fans who waited out a little bit of rain, a little lightning, little thunder, and then you guys gave them quite a show here today. Your thoughts on playing in front of the fan base for the first time in 2021 at FirstEnergy Stadium?
Yeah, man, all praises to the Most High, first and foremost, for allowing us to have the opportunity to get back out there. It's been a rough previous year, and, for the fans specifically. They had the opportunity to come out here and watch us practice and things like that. And it was a glorious opportunity for us to play in front of them and really just to give it our shot. Give it the best we can and really try to go out there and work hard. So,
yeah, I was wondering, Jeremiah, when was the last time you played in front of a crowd like that? It's had to be a while for you as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, college, really. College.
But like a year before.
They actually, Notre Dame actually had, good capacity with us. If you remember the Clemson game, they stormed the field. And so we had a good little crowd out there, but no, definitely as far as a practice, man, never had it was about 30,000, 40,000 out there. There was a lot of people out there, man. It was kind of loud too, when they started doing the chants, and man, it was a good experience. So
all right, so what did you guys do when you get here? I mean, and you guys bust over from the campus, got here. And all of a sudden, here comes this giant thunderstorm and a delay. What were you guys doing back in the locker room?
Man, we were really cracking jokes back there. But no, we was getting ready for practice and just having that extra opportunity to just stretch and warm up and things like that. I'm in a separate locker room, and guys was just in there laughing, and we were really just having a good time and taking what could be a bad thing for us, not being able to practice to. Just taking the best out of it. So just controlling what we can control. So
how much does this help kind of break up the monotony of camp and kind of give you guys something to look forward to and maybe provide a little extra juice into a practice?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you change the environment, it almost can change the mentality a little bit. We try to keep the mentality the same, but, you can't help but to realize, hey, we in the stadium, can't help but to realize, hey, there's more fans. So, it was a good experience, good juices flowing, when you had the fans cheering for you and different things like that. It seemed like they only cheer for the offense, really. But, it's cool. But no, it was a good experience.
All right. We're talking with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Browns rookie linebacker out of Notre Dame and making his impact known here in the last week since he was able to take the football field in Berea at the cross-country mortgage campus. Does it get frustrating not being able to tackle? Like, there was contact today, but not that hitting and taken to the ground a lot of times when you could have come up and wrapped with the player. You mentioned they're cheering the offense, but really they might be cheering the defense if you could tackle.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I remember a couple of times when we would, tag off on the player and he would keep running to the end zone and the fans just cheer. I'm like, oh, no, he's down. Oh, no, that's a sack. It does kind of change a little bit. It changes kind of the speed in which you play. I remember a couple of times where I fit a gap and, just kind of like, veer it off a little bit from the running back or veer it off from the quarterback and things like that. So you have to change a little bit, you have to change your mentality a little bit in terms of protecting the team. But, overall, it kind of similar to the same thing, but,
Jeremiah, I just want to ask you about this week that you just logged here. You got back on the field with the guys on Monday, and now we're here on Sunday. How would you evaluate how your first full week is gone, and how up to speed were you when you finally got out there?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if I was as up to speed as I thought I was, because nothing really compares to those in-practice reps. You can walk through, you can study it on a piece of paper, you can study it on the whiteboard, but until you actually get in it, being able to feel the speed, being able to feel the change of direction and things like that, you never truly caught up. But I feel like, after today, I have met that mark to understand the defense more, to really understand how, things are working out, how to shift, how to do these things, and how to pick up the emotions and things like that. So I definitely got better today. I got better this week, and, I'm looking forward to Tuesday.
Since this training camp started, what's been the best piece of advice you've gotten from someone, whether it's a coach, whether it's a veteran?
Yeah. The best piece of advice. I know Coach Preef, especially his coach, started off with the meeting today with the Bible verse out of Luke, and it was speaking on to much is given, much is required, and you kind of just sit back and you kind of like understand that quote or that scripture, and it's like, well, we've been given the opportunity to be out here to play football, to be able to play in front of these fans, to be able to be in a position that we are, getting paid to do what we love. And, much is required of us because we are in our position. More discipline is required. Faster recovery is required. Being able to understand the schemes are required. It's a heightened, everything is heightened. And when you just sit back and look at that, you come to appreciate it even more. So I think that was today probably was the best thing I've heard up to date.
Jeremiah, this is a team obviously with high expectations, especially on defense with a lot of new faces. I'm just wondering, from your perspective, how much have things changed since you got here as a rookie going through rookie minicamp, and now that you're in training camp? How much are you being treated just like you're the same expectations as the veterans out there because winning is such a priority this year?
Absolutely. Coach mentioned it at the end of the practice. We are the hunted now. It's almost like we're no longer hunting. We're hunting, but to the world's view, we're the hunted, and everybody's trying to beat the Browns because they see the talent that we do have and things like that. But the expectations, man, we kind of try to put down the expectations in our minds just to be able to kind of focus on the now. When you focus on the expectations, you kind of get caught up in the future, kind of get caught up in what's going to happen when this happens, or you kind of reacting. And we want to be the people to kind of stamp or to make others react. So I think, when we talk about expectations, you feel them, but you don't really try to take too much into consideration because it can almost put you in a world that, you're not in. But
Jeremiah, what was Tony Dungy's message to you, the Hall of Fame coach addressing you guys after practice? What was his message to you?
Yeah, that's when I referred to Coach. That's what I was talking about. But no, Coach Dungy, man, that's my guy. Kind of, he was always doing our broadcast there at Notre Dame, and he would always speak highly of me and things like that. So his message was really that to really understand the now that we're in, to understand the situations that we're in, to understand what we have as a team. We have a lot of individual stars. We have a lot of individual players that are really good, but until we come together as a unit, we can never truly be special. And that was really his, his speech and his motto and things like that. So it was definitely great to have him speak.
Jeremiah, now that you're a couple weeks into an NFL training camp, what's the biggest difference between an August in the NFL and an August preparing for a college football season?
Man, I don't know, man. It's like it's kind of like with college, we was like really getting to it, really, it's almost like we unconsciously practiced too hard, and we didn't really protect the team like that. We was, sometimes hitting in practice and, and things like that. So it's a little change almost, we're working hard here, but it's an understanding where we got to protect the team, and we understand that it's a time and a place for everything. So it's more smart. It's more the mind is almost required at this level because it's such a proficient level. So now, having that transition from college to NFL, you got to understand ways to recover, understand ways to get more into the playbook, and understand ways to connect more with your teammates and things like that. It's still football, it's still the game, it's still referees, it's still fans, but that piece is a little different.
Biggest challenge going up against Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in practice?
Well, they both got their different styles of play. Nick is more of a watch out type of player, and Kareem is also a watch out type of player, but he has his own unique style to him. The biggest challenges are just to make sure you know your personnel. And that's kind of the biggest challenge with everybody is to know who you're going up against. In the pass rush, know who you're going up against. In the run game, make sure you know who you're going up against. You're not gonna go out there and play Derrick Henry and try to hit him, a certain way, is what I'm saying. So you got to know who you're going up against. That's the biggest challenge.
I know you guys are a month away from the season opener, but there's a preseason game coming up next week. And as a rookie, I mean, even if it's preseason, I imagine it's pretty special. What are the emotions and thinking about going into your first game, a road game, but going up against a quarterback, it's pretty well, I guess, in Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Quarterback and running back. Yeah, but no, man, it's I try to treat it as just another game, but in the back of my mind, I know that it's not just another game. It's the first game where I get to put on a true NFL jersey, and truly reality is gonna set in. I'm gonna be appreciative for it. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm working my butt off and making sure that I succeed in all of my goals that I want in that game, and play for my team and be a good member. So we'll see. We'll see.
We will see. We're looking forward to it on Saturday night down in Jacksonville. I know you got to go. You're not done for the day quite yet. Almost done. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, great job out on the field today. It was great to see you out there. We wish you all the best of luck, continued success, and we look forward to following your journey here as we get closer to the start of the regular season here in the National Football League.
Yeah, appreciate it. Much love.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, thank you for the time. We greatly appreciate him. And Andrew Gribble, you take a look at things. This was a great practice for this football team after the weather delay. And, it just the guys did an outstanding job overcoming the weather and overcoming things and really put on a good show for the fans today.
Yeah, I mean, I was driving in right as the weather started to change, and I was getting a little nervous because I was sitting on the exit for a while. There was a lot of traffic. This was a really good crowd that came in today, and it was one of those things where that weather came off the lake in a hurry, and all of a sudden we're just kind of sitting here waiting, and you started to wonder, are they going to get this in? And then all of a sudden the skies opened up. It looks like a great day, and if you watch the highlights from this practice, you would have never known that there was a thunderstorm. But I guess, as Jeremiah talked about, they got to go through a little bit of adversity. This is something you might have to experience during the season. The Browns had to experience it last year during that awful stretch of weather they had down here as well. So really, once they got on the field, I don't think it affected anything at all. Maybe they cut out some of the periods that might have had given people opportunities to go to the concession stands, but it made the periods they did do made it pretty interesting. And I thought we saw a lot of 11-on-11, some good 7-on-7, even a couple of interesting special teams periods. I thought this was a good day, a productive day, and a lot for people I think there was probably more offensive highlights than defensive highlights, but the defense certainly had some good periods as well today.
Yeah, I mean, it started, with a weather delay. I saw the ref come out and do a lap, and that got the crowd fired up. They were looking for anything to fire themselves up today. Kevin Stefanski talked to the fans and then passed the mic to Baker Mayfield. Some nice comments, and I think the players just happy to see that many fans back in the building. Remember, it was 10 to 12, maybe even 15,000 at the most last season. And the fans were into it. And they wanted to see some things. And, well, Gribbs, biggest takeaway, the running game is still really, really good. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this is something where you really, as JOK said, I mean, it's hard to gauge on what kind of gains that they're getting on plays. But I feel like anytime Nick Chubb touches the ball, it's going for at least 5 or 6 with what we're seeing on the practice field. And then I think it's fair to say Kareem Hunt had a legit long touchdown run today. I mean, that was one where the refs did not blow the whistles. Players were chasing him down the sidelines. They couldn't catch him. I think Kareem Hunt's looked outstanding during this camp. And something I've noticed that it may not translate into the season, but the backup guys, Dearness Johnson and John Kelly, they might not be having the same kind of runs that Chubb and Hunt are, but I see them getting involved in the pass game a little bit. It seemed like the Dearness and John Kelly both are catching the ball in the backfield with some screen work and things like that. And then you throw in the mix of Demetric Felton, where he's going to be. Is he going to be a wide receiver? Is he going to be a running back? I mean, this is going to be a really good running game. And I think it's fair to say that this is what this offensive line does really well. They're only going to get better than they were last year when they ranked 3rd in the league in rushing. And honestly, they might have been 3rd in the league, but I think they were number 1 when it came to closing out games with that running attack, where Nick Chubb averaged 10 yards a carry in the 4th quarter, and you're just able to pound the team into submission and win games in a clean fashion.
What else stood out to you today at FirstEnergy Stadium? Who had a big day? Was there a play? Was there a moment? Was there a position group?
I'll go with the position group, and I think the tight ends had a really productive day. Harrison Bryant and Njoku both had a couple touchdowns apiece. I thought the one between Baker to Njoku looked like something we've seen in the regular season before, right down the seam in the middle of the field during a red zone period. The touchdown catch Harrison Bryant made over Richard LeCount was fantastic. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see from a tall tight end, snatching it away from a safety over top of his head. And Bryant's a guy we haven't talked about too much during training camp, but he looked very good today. And I think Njoku, this is his fifth training camp, which is hard to believe with the Browns now. And this has probably been his best. I think that he's looked very good. And they were both active in a variety of periods. And it seemed like those are the guys who were getting open the most, whether it be for Baker Mayfield or for Case Keenum out there.
On the defensive side of the ball, I felt like Miles was Miles today. And thank goodness you can't hit the quarterback, because Miles was in the backfield quite a bit. But were there any other guys that stood out to you?
Well, there's one thing that I've always noticed. It's going back to last year too. And that's something that Joe Woods does in scheming up his nickel backs to get pressure on the quarterback. It seems like he draws one up or two every single time they play. And MJ Stewart had a clear shot at the quarterback. They let the play go, and he almost made the tackle downfield as well after making a sack on a play. So I thought that was a really good moment for the DBs. And I also thought today, with Denzel Ward out for rest, you got a full dose of Greg Newsome and Greedy Williams with the first team. I think that's going to be great for evaluation. I think both had their good moments. Both had times where they got beat as well. I think Newsome at the end was flagged for DPI at the end in the 2-minute drill period. Greedy on the wrong end of the Rashard Higgins touchdown pass midway through the practice. But both have been very solid. And this was really the first time we got a full dose of those guys with the first defense in a practice where there was a lot of team drills.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It was nice to see Newsome, and he made some plays, and Troy Hill had a few plays. He got chipped pretty good. He came in on a delayed blitz, and Kareem Hunt got him pretty good, and he was down for a minute. There was an anxious moment, and then he was able to get off and needed to collect himself on the sideline after getting blocked by Kareem Hunt. But he made some plays. On the special team side of things, Scottish Hammer clearly was working on a few things, different things that he was doing from a punting standpoint. The kickers combined in their little session went 7 for 8. Everybody breathed deeply. It's only the scrimmage or orange and brown practice, whatever you'd like to call it. But 7 for 8 today. Special teams looked pretty good too.
Yeah, it was almost like going in the lab with Jamie Gillen. Like, I feel like he was trying something new on every single one of his punts. Some of them worked, some of them didn't, but it was like there was a different kind of spin on all these punts. It was a lot of they weren't running full speed, but they were trying to pin those guys back, and it was a pretty fun thing to watch. And as far as the field goal kicking session went, I mean, McLaughlin stepped up there with all 4 of those were just booted through. And I know that, Parkey is obviously clearly the guy that is the returning favorite, has really, other than the first day camp, has been very strong throughout training camp. And you imagine after what he did last year, where you'd imagine he's going to be in great position again to be the guy. But it was almost like every one of McLaughlin's kicks was like 20 yards past where it needed to be. I mean, it was a good session. And in the other, they didn't do dog pound end zone today, but they got a shot on the other side of the field today.
All right. Hollywood Higgins walked the red carpet. We got to see that for the first time in 2021, but the guys throwing the football, Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum as well, both with solid days. And we don't talk a lot about Keenum, but he's that steady veteran presence. And today, God forbid something, we're not even going to talk about it, but you have a really good backup quarterback if you need one.
Yeah. And I mean, I think this gets brought to light when you see what's going on in Indianapolis right now. I think that this is a luxury that the Browns have in Case Keenum, who is a guy that's led the Minnesota Vikings into the playoffs, had a career year with Kevin Stefanski, and today was probably the best we've seen him all throughout camp. I mean, I thought he looked really good, throwing to a variety of wide receivers. The throw to Higgins was a dime, really just had good command of the offense. And it goes without saying, I mean, this guy's been such a great influence on Baker Mayfield. I think he's your ideal backup quarterback. And when you look at the NFL quarterbacks 1 through 32, Case Keenum is definitely in there. He just happens to be a backup on your team behind Baker Mayfield. And I think that's a good situation to have, especially when a team you're competing with to get a playoff spot in Indianapolis could be in some trouble here to start the season.
Player day off on Monday, practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, travel day Friday, and we come to you from Jacksonville on Saturday night at 7:00. Gribble, final thoughts from FirstEnergy Stadium before we go back to the Cross Country Mortgage Campus on Tuesday.
I mean, today gave us a little bit of everything. Gave us Cleveland weather. It gave us a lot of fans here. It gave us a nice little sneak preview of what's to come. Gave me a reminder I need to get to the stadium earlier than I did today. I think it's one of those where this felt the closest thing to what we could experience here in about a month, a little over a month for the first home game. So it's great to see Browns fans. It just reflected what the passion is like in this city. They navigated. They came down here on the same day that there's a baseball game in the city. So there's a ton of people downtown, both at Progressive Field and here down at the stadium. I mean, it was a great day overall, and I think it's just a sneak preview of what's to come here.
No question about it. Looking forward to seeing the upper deck full and seeing this stadium jam-packed, and could happen here in the next couple weeks as the first home preseason game against the Giants comes 2 weeks from today at 1:00 at FirstEnergy Stadium. So thanks to Jeff McDaniel for all of his hard work behind the scenes. Also the Browns PR department, who is running around trying to get guys for everybody that needs someone to interview before everybody heads back to campus. Thanks to Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah for all his hard work as well. You can watch us anytime, youtube.com/Browns. Check out all our episodes of the best podcast available. You can also like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Today, we encourage you to do so. Log on and search the best podcast available. We are back with you on Thursday, getting ready for Browns and Jaguars and recapping the week that was. For Andrew Gribble, I'm Jason Gibbs. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the best podcast available.